Hello, this is Architect with the Marathon submission of Contra Rogue Corps. Here's my setup with the two guns, the spread gun and the dragon gun. And here's my setup for the character, Harakiri, I'm going to be using for the speedrun. Here's the body parts. Today we're going to be doing the Chaos Finale mission on the hardest difficulty, which is arguably the hardest stage in the game. So one of the first things to note here is that it is a roguelike map for the exploration missions, which this counts as. So in these ones, we check where the enemies are to see where the doors open in this particular map. There's going to be 4 different sections, each with each map in it. And then there's these fortresses, which are basically load screens. So there is a certain pattern for each map. If you just have to react to each one. And then the enemy spawns are going to be random, and I'm going to have mini bosses in every section of them too. So any normal enemies, I generally try to skip. They're pretty quick. There's another fortress. So this is, there's Chaos Finale in particular is set up into 4 particular sections. I'm still in the first section. So here's the mini bosses. I'm going to use Harakiri's ability here, which has a certain duration and has a pretty long cooldown. It increases damage, increases movement speed. And in this particular setup, I do want to kill the purple skater guy first, because he is very troublesome. And then I want to kill the obese guy after. The purple skater guy can use certain moves like you can use a projectile, he can charge at you, and it does it very quickly too. And then there's also some other random enemies that can spawn in between, some regular zombie looking guys. So the strategy I use for the obese guy here is generally stand near him, not too far away. And I do want to optimize using the dragon gun too. The dragon gun is a very special weapon. It counts as a sub-weapon, and it's really great because I can fire it. It goes on overheat right away, but it stays on screen as long as there's something to track. It counts as a homing gun, so it'll actually try to home something. And then with that done, we are on the second part of Chaos Finale. And this is a favorable map. This one I'm going to actually use the ability here to increase my movement speed, since this is a favorable map. The exits are either going to be on the left or the top, west or north in this case. We got another forest map here, so that's very favorable. So usually I'll check the left side first. There doesn't look like it's on the left side, so I'm going to go to the top here, see if it's over there. This actually saves quite a bit of time getting these maps. You don't really have to wait for the other doors compared to the other maps. And then it looks like we have the mini boss here. Okay, so we have the purple skater guy, and we have the whatever that is. But this monster, this has a shield as well. So, like usual, we want to prioritize killing the purple skater guy. He's down. Oh, now he's down. And then this one has a shield, this monster right here. So to actually damage its health bar, I need to weaken it first. So it's very important I do have my ability ready to go for this. Otherwise it's very difficult to one cycle. Those purple balls can stun me as well, so I don't want to run into them. That was actually a pretty good kill. No normal enemies coming out of there too. Okay, now we're on to the third section of Chaos Finale. Generally, while I'm waiting for these doors, I try to kill some of the enemies out of the way so I don't take too much damage. And the second fastest form of movement in this game is to dash, which I do quite often in the exploration parts. I generally want to save my ability for the mini bosses and the final boss at the end. But whenever I finish a section of Chaos Finale, it does restore. If I use my bomb, it also restores. I want to save my bombs for the final boss. And if I die as well. That's actually another reason why I have extra lives, so I can actually utilize that for extra damage. Okay, now we're on to the next mini boss. We have the purple skater guy and the purple obese guy again. So with the purple skater guy, I try to go up close. Sometimes he can be a bit of a troll. Sometimes if he moves in a zigzag motion, it's pretty difficult to hit him. One thing to note with the dragon gun is that it does home on an enemy, but it likes to turn around quite a bit. So when there's no enemies on screen, it just will go into a wall eventually and it'll disappear, so we don't want that. The head section of the dragon gun actually does the most damage. And that's the only part that can critically hit as well. That's actually pretty important for it too. That's for positioning the dragon gun. And then on top of that, there's also upgrades you can put on your weapon, which are called bads. I have a very particular setup just for this. Okay, so this is the final section of Chaos Finale. This is the final boss on the hardest difficulty. So this is the giant enemy crab. He has a lot of health. He has a few million health. So trying to do this solo is actually very difficult. Even trying to do this multiplayer without a good setup is still very difficult on the hardest difficulty. It's basically a damage race and also some survival. I'm going to use a bomb here to reset my ability. This is one of the bad patterns that happens quite often on the crab, is he jumps 4 times. You can also do a claw attack. In the first phase, he'll only do one claw attack generally. It's pretty easy to dodge. You can just dash through it. And one thing to note with my ability is I want to use the dragon gun while it's up too, because it'll do the extra damage the entire time if I use it during the ability. There's the 4 jump again. And then there's a weak spot on the crab is the eye. Whenever it turns red, it takes basically double damage. And then those little canisters on the top actually is another weak spot. It's not as much as the eye, but it still does pretty good damage. So the dragon gun is very good for that. It generally hits both of them. The red eye only comes up when he's attacking. So it's actually very important to hit it while it's attacking. He has a blue eye, a green eye, and a red eye. And it also closes its eye too. That's when it takes the least amount of damage, when it closes the eye. So depending on the attack, it'll either be a blue eye or a red eye when it's attacking. There's another jump. So this is good to get the jump here actually before phase changes. It'll phase change around halfway. There's some variation with it. So that's actually denoted with the crawling underground. And then you get some ads you have to fight before it comes back up. Oops. That's fine. Also, one thing to note with my health is that most attacks, I shouldn't say all attacks, but most attacks will bring me to 0 health if I still have health and they were to kill me. The crab is one of the exceptions where it can actually damage you through the 0 health barrier. Some of its attacks will one-shot you no matter what. So this death is intentional so I can get my ability back quicker and do more damage. It's basically just a damage race from this part out. One good thing about the last phase is that it is very much open to attacks. Like I said, while it's attacking, it has the red or blue eye. So that means it'll take more damage from that. And it does it more often too. The pattern I don't want at all is if it burrows or if it heals like that. It can heal itself just randomly. It healed itself about 1/8 of itself there. It can do that multiple times too, so if it does that, I want to generally play it safe and not lose too many lives. But it looks like I only got it once. This one I chose to dodge in the corner, so I can get my ability back with a bomb here. But I died anyway, so then I got the ability back. And then I still have 3 bombs I can use to reset my ability. As you notice, the dragon gun is doing a lot of damage here too. The spread gun is also very good for pretty much just any kind of damage. For multiple enemies, for a single target, it's really good. You can fire a lot of shots before it overheats as well. Generally, I try not to let it overheat, but sometimes it happens. We're in the last stretch here, we're in the last phase. And these lasers stay up the entire time, and these other ads are there the whole time too. We kill them and they come back. Okay, last phase. Last life too. So I generally try to make it where I have at least one life before it gets too dangerous. And that's a crab. That's the hardest enemy in the game. Even harder than the final boss, or any hardcore missions or anything else. And then you get one extra treasure room just for good measure. Sometimes this door opens, it's not open. And then we just go around if it's not. And that is Chaos Finale. Hope you guys enjoyed. We can also see the in-game time will differ a little bit from the actual time. So 9:15 in-game time, 10:30 real time. And there's my drop, so nothing special there. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.